Good morning. This is Orly Taitz, and this is Taitz Report, and today is October the 24th. Well, first of all, I wanted to provide an update on a couple of cases against Barack Obama. One of them is a case in Washington, D.C., and it's a case that is dealing with Barack Obama's fabricated selective service registration that bears a fabricated cancellation USPS stamp. As you know, I have submitted this complaint, and um, the government did not respond. I was seeking a motion for either default judgment or summary judgment because there was no answer. And the government sent a response. Actually, what happened was that the judge, instead of giving me a default judgment, even though I provided him with certified mail receipts showing that the documents were received by the Department of Justice, the judge, either he himself or his clerk, actually called the Department of Justice and asked them to respond. If it would have been anybody else, the judge would not be calling, would not be making such a call. At any rate, he called, and they responded by saying that the documents were received, and they were lost, and they were trying to find them for 3 months, couldn't find them. And recently, I have submitted a response with certified mail receipts showing that the signature on this certified mail package was the same as the signatures on all the other packages received by the Department of Justice. So why didn't they check with the mail clerk? It's the same clerk that gets all of their mail. So today there was yet another response from the government, and they are saying, well, we admit that the documents were received. We admit that the mail clerk did sign for them, but they complained, and the summons somehow got lost within the building. They don't know where they are. So they're asking Judge Lambert to give them 30 days from the date that the shutdown of the government ended, which they're saying was on the 16th. So they want till November the 16th, which is a weekend. So they want Judge Lambert to give them time until November the 18th to respond. That's what's happening on that front. On Astro case, I just got a notice that there is a new U.S. attorney on the case. There is no answer on the case versus Caroline Colvin, and that's dealing with Obama's use of a stolen Social Security number of Harry Bonnell. And yesterday, I had a hearing in California in the 4th District Court of Appeals, and there were a couple of interesting facts, observations that myself and people in the audience made during that hearing. Well, first of all, the courtroom was full, and aside from a couple of Obama supporters, the rest were actually my supporters. And a lot of them were oath keepers. And the first gentleman who came was a veteran, Bob Green. He's a veteran and an oath keeper, and he was wearing his black oath keeper shirt, and it says here, Oath Keepers. He was wearing a jacket that said here, Oath Keepers, and also he was wearing a cap with an American flag. And the security guards in the court told him to remove the cap, and I can understand maybe they don't allow any caps in the courtroom, but they told him that that he's not allowed to wear neither the jacket nor the shirt with a sign of Oath Keepers. He stated he was told that he has to go to the bathroom, and that he will have to put the shirt inside out so the sign is not seen, and he refused to do so. And he said, I will not do it. If the judge would not allow me to wear a shirt with sign Oath Keepers, then okay, I will do what the judge says, but I'm refusing to take off my shirt now. And then other people came and they were having the same shirts of oath keepers. There were women wearing those shirts. So at that point, the security did not say anything else. As a matter of fact, one of the oath keeper leaders have called the headquarters from, I guess, from where the security personnel came and filed a complaint stating that they had no right to tell people to remove shirts. I could not believe that was happening. At any rate, then we waited about half an hour. And when the panel came, they stated that because of the media request for recording, they had to arrange it and it took some time, which was fine. I did notice that there was a change in the panel, and it's interesting that there was supposed to be a 3-judge panel of Judge Kathleen O'Leary, Judge Thompson, and Judge Icola. And originally the hearing was supposed to be in September 19th. And then I got a message that only my case, not other cases, were moved from September 19th to October 23rd. There was no explanation why. Later on, when I called, I was told that one of the judges on this panel could not make it, and they wanted this specific panel to be in charge of the case. But when we came to court, we saw that Kathleen O'Leary was not there, and there was Judge Feibel who was presiding over this panel of 3 judges. I do not know why. Also, they announced that this will be a panel just for this case, not for any other cases, and that my case will be heard first, and then there will be a break, and then another panel is going to come and will hear all the other cases. I do not know if it's good or bad, but it's highly unusual that for the same day they would have 2 panels of judges, one panel of 3 judges that would be sitting there just for one case, and then another panel. At any rate, I did my presentation. And I noticed, as I said, that the judge who was presiding was Judge Feibel, who actually introduced the oath of allegiance, or oath of that attorneys take to defend and protect the U.S. Constitution that I took over 10 years ago. And I started by telling Judge Feibel that he was the judge who administered the oath of allegiance when I was sworn in as an attorney, and I take this oath very seriously, and so do the oath keepers who are sitting in the courtroom. And that is why I'm there, and that is why I'm working pro bono for so long, because I am concerned about those issues of civil rights. And violations of civil rights. I proceeded with the case. The judges were very polite and attentive in comparison to other cases where the judges were rude and they would attack me and other attorneys who dared to speak up in regards to Obama's fabricated ideas. Those judges were nice. And also what was interesting, that they heard my case first. Typically for the past 5 years, what I saw was my cases being heard last, where the courts didn't want other attorneys to know what's happening. So they would hear all the other cases, would leave the Obama case as the last one, so nobody will hear, nobody would know what's going on. And this was something different. This case was heard first. And as a matter of fact, as I was leaving, an attorney got up and as I was going through the hallway, he shook my hand and said, I knew nothing about this case and I really support you. You did a great job. And he gave his card. He's also one of the leaders of local Rotary, and he said he will try to help as much as he can. So it was in my opinion, it was positive that this case was heard first. Another thing that happened that was different in this case is that as I was sitting and waiting for the case, somebody said, "Hi, Orly," and sat next to me. And at first I thought it was maybe somebody from the groups of supporters. So I said, "What group are you from?" Meaning oath keepers, veterans. And he said, "No, I'm the administrator for this court, and it's for the whole Court of Appeals." I've never seen an administrator in the courtroom, and particularly coming and sitting next to me and introducing himself. My understanding was that because of all the threats that I get, and sometimes I actually post on my website those threats that people can see what's happening, maybe the court was put on notice that there are threats, and I think they wanted to make sure that nothing happens. And so I thought that actually it was good that he was there. And typically, people who get those positions as administrators or chief clerks often are people who served in the military. For example, the chief clerk of the Supreme Court of the United States is a former JAG general. So I actually felt more protected and that he was there. And nothing happened. There was no violence, and the proceeding went well. The judges have actually asked just to repeat some information. For example, the case that was dismissed by the lower court, as I stated, was dismissed wrongfully, and I cited a statute that specifically says that if a lower court judge believes that it was filed in the wrong county, and what he was saying should have been in Sacramento County instead of Orange County, he had no right to dismiss the case. It was not a valid reason to dismiss the case. He had to transfer it, and if there is any difference in fees, all I had to do is just pay, I don't know, a few dollars more in fee, if there is a difference. And they asked me to repeat it, the statute and what it says, and they wrote it down. So it seems that they understood that there was a mistake made in that the case was dismissed wrongfully. Additionally, I provided them information that it was in the file, all the certified mail receipts and receipts from personal service, that all the parties were served. And lastly, in regards to accidental college, I did argue that I requested Barack Obama's records, his registration, redacted registration and application records from accidental college, specifically because of all the documents showing that he was a citizen of Indonesia, listed as citizen of Indonesia in his school records from Indonesia. And because in Indonesia he was still a child, and he would say, well, you know, that happened when I was a little kid. When he started his studies at Occidental College in California, he was over the age of majority, over age 18. And if indeed those records were to show that he is a citizen of Indonesia, then he cannot serve as the US president. And they kind of were understanding. Also, I explained that that Judge Martinez, Superior Court judge, has erred in not granting my motion for production of Barack Obama's records. And I explained that even though the Occidental College was stating that those records are private, the information that I was seeking, Barack Obama's citizenship as it's listed on those records, his date of birth and his legal last name, is not private because he already told this to the public. So the issue was not privacy. What was at issue is whether he was committing fraud. And based on all the evidence that we have, he was committing fraud. So the judges seemed to be understanding. They were pleasant. As a matter of fact, when I finished my presentation, the chair of this three-judge panel, Judge Feibel, stated that it was a very good presentation. And actually, when I'll get the audio, I will post it on my website at Orly, Taitz, ESQ.com, ORLY, T as in Tom, AI, T as in Tom, Z, ESQ.com. The audio tape is not ready yet, but I will post it the moment it's ready. So he stated that it was a very good presentation, and he also said that he was amazed that I spoke for half an hour without ever looking at the notes, that I was speaking by memory the whole half an hour. So after the presentation, they stated that they will send their opinion by mail. We left, and I gave an interview to the TV program, to the talk show host and producer of the TV program on thought, William Wagner, also to the radio talk show host Wiley Drake, and also to a reporter from National Examiner. And I already posted the interview that I gave to Wiley Drake on my website. It was posted yesterday, and others will be posted as they are available. They're not available yet. Next, another thing that is, I believe, is important. Recently, there were several reports that a number of U.S. generals have been purged from the U.S. military by Barack Obama and are being replaced by other generals that apparently are loyal to Obama. There were 9, by some accounts, 11 top-ranking U.S. generals that are being thrown out of the military. And this is a great concern, particularly in light of the fact that Obama has made members of the military sign a questionnaire, fill out a questionnaire where they're asked, will you be willing to shoot on U.S. citizens if necessary? And there is a concern that generals who are loyal to the U.S. Constitution and not to usurper Obama will probably answer no. That might be the reason why they were let go. So it is extremely important that those generals do not sit on their hands, and particularly since there are so many of them that have been fired within a short period of time, it is highly unlikely that there was something improper done by those generals, all of them at the same time. It's highly improper, unlikely. It's more likely that Barack Obama is purging the military of people who are loyal to the Constitution and replacing them with ones who are loyal to him. And therefore, I'm asking the public, please, related to those generals, and a legal action have to be brought immediately for wrongful termination. Members of the military can file wrongful termination legal action, and if they believe that it was done by for political reasons, that's also a violation of their civil rights. And I am in touch with a number of attorneys who have experience with UCMJ, please relate this to them, give them my phone number, 949-683-5411, 949-683-5411. They can call me. Also, they can email me at orly.taitz@gmail.com, orly.taitz@gmail.com, or actually better at hushmail.com. Actually, considering what's happening with Gmail, Hushmail would be a better email address. So they have to respond. Top generals of the U.S. military should not be silent when they are purged from the military. And lastly, there were reports recently that members of the military were told that members of the Tea Party and evangelical Christians are extremists, and that if members of the U.S. military are caught associating with Tea Party or evangelical Christians, they will be thrown out of the military. This is illegal. This is violation of civil rights of members of the U.S. military. Just because a person enlisted in the military, he did not lose his civil rights. He still has his First Amendment right for freedom of speech, his First Amendment right, freedom of association. He can associate with whoever he wants to, be it Tea Party Nation, Tea Party Patriots, any group he wants to. Those are actually patriot groups. And what needs to be done, again, there has to be a legal action against individuals who had the goal of telling this to members of the U.S. military. Again, please relate it to everybody. We need the names of the people who are telling members of the military that they will be fired from the military if they associate with the Tea Party. This is not a banana republic. This is the United States of America, and we're not going to stand for such garbage. No, we need the names of those people. We need their pictures. We're going to post those pictures all over the internet, shame them for behaving this way, and we're going to slap them with a lawsuit for violation of civil rights of the members of the U.S. military. It's a deprivation of civil rights under color of authority. This is a criminal offense. Not only they would have to pay damages in civil action, they also will end up in prison because it's a very serious criminal violation. Will be asking the court for ex-relator status, asking to step in the shoes of the U.S. attorneys who are clearly not doing their job. They're not prosecuting Obama, even though they have all of the evidence of Obama using fabricated IDs. Clearly, Eric Holder is complicit, and in some instances, a judge can give a civil attorney ex-relator status to step in the shoes of the government attorney and prosecute. And lastly, Peter Schweitzer, a well-known, highly respected journalist, has written yet another book very critical of the government called Extortion, where he is stating that Eric Holder and 4 other top attorneys in the Department of Justice are acting as extortionists, acting as racketeers, as mafia. And when in 2010 Barack Obama lost votes due to Tea Party movement, they sent letters to companies that were donating money to Tea Party. And in those letters, they threatened those companies, saying that the Department of Justice opened a civil and criminal investigation of them. We are seeing a direct correlation whereby those civil and criminal prosecutions just disappear as long as those people and those companies stop donating to Republicans, stop donating to Tea Party, and donate to this mafia that is currently ruling this nation, Democratic Party, and of course donating to this criminal who is sitting in the White House with fabricated IDs and stolen social security number. It is extremely important that everybody starts moving, start fighting. Read the books by Peter Schweitzer. Please contact members of the military. Please contact your congressmen, your senators. Tell them immediately we have to start impeachment hearings, impeachment proceedings. And I know people are saying, well, Obama never qualified. He doesn't even qualify for impeachment. That's true. But for the sake of the argument, that's what we need to tell them. We need immediate hearings by the Judiciary Committee of Obama's use of fabricated IDs and a stolen social security number for purposes of removal of Barack Obama from office and his criminal prosecution. We need investigation of corrupt members of the DOJ, Department of Justice, who are acting like Chicago Mafia, who are engaged in de facto extortion and racketeering schemes. They need to go to prison. Keep in mind, John Mitchell, Attorney General of the United States during Nixon, went to prison, and so do a number of people working for Department of Justice and a few other federal agencies today. This has to be done, and please get in touch with members of the military who are being purged, who are being removed. We need to bring serious legal actions on their behalf in order to vindicate them and their rights and end this nightmare that descended on this country. Thank you for watching. This was Taitz Report for October the 24th, and this is Orly Taitz.